Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Divine Union podcast. And if this is your first time joining us today, welcome. I'm so thrilled to have you here because today we're going to be talking all about conflict and why we don't have to resolve everything at once when it comes to conflict. This topic is something that's alive for me in my own life, which I'll share about. And it was spurred from a client session I had this weekend, a couples session where they were working through a conflict. It was a big decision for the coupledom that they were moving forward with. And one party wanted to have everything hashed out, divvying up roles and responsibilities, and how they were going to navigate this decision. While another party was feeling a bit overburdened, overwhelmed by the decision, and it caused some closure. And what came out from this session, what was discovered is when it comes to conflict, oftentimes we want to have clarity in a moment. So perhaps if you're a couple and maybe you're navigating a decision for your children, where they'll go to school. Let's use that example. You enter into a conversation about it, and oftentimes we want as human beings to have closure in that moment. So we're entering into the conversation. I go in thinking about my side of the story, what I desire as the outcome, and I want to have closure by the end of it. Now, and I'll give another example. Maybe it's the beginning stages of a relationship and you want to know if this person is your soulmate or not. And so you want to figure it out from the get-go. Are you my person or are you not? What is your take on kids? What are your values? What does faith play in your life? What role? And when we do that, what happens is we rush the intimacy, we rush the conversation. And this isn't the way intimacy works, because when you think about intimacy and you think about different attachment styles, so some folks are more avoidant, some folks are more anxiously attached. On that spectrum, when you're dealing with more avoidant partners, or folks who have a high intimacy meter, or where intimacy can often feel heavy, and they value their independence, and you can notice maybe sometimes they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? They need to ease into intimacy. When we try to have a conversation in one go, it doesn't give spaciousness for folks to want to lean in towards us. It's kind of like in the beginning stages of a relationship. If you're trying to evaluate if someone's your soulmate before you give them space and time to see how they show up in the relationship, to see how y'all jive in the relationship, how things are flowing. Are they meeting your desires? Are they honoring you? Are you enjoying the way the relationship is unfolding? Do you value who they be? And that takes time to unfold. Also, in the time is where you learn about each other and you learn about maybe partner doesn't like this one behavior that you have. And over time, as you settle in into their routine, getting to know them more deeply, maybe you can shift that behavior in time, just like so can they. And so it's giving that spaciousness to feel into a relationship. This is something I've been coming across lately as I'm entering into a collaboration with a fellow sister collaborator. And I was noticing my own heart feeling open, but then feeling closed, wanting to pull out, wanting to step away and retreat. And I was having this conversation with a girlfriend of mine, sharing how my feels, my nerves and anxiety around it. And she said, Nicola, it's okay for you to feel at times, take a few steps forward and a few steps back. Then maybe you take 3 steps forward. Maybe then you take 2 steps back. And it was such permission for me to just exhale. Because this happens in romantic relationships as well. It's this dynamic of how do I allow myself to lean in? Maybe we're working through this conflict, then it gets a little tense. Okay, we pause, we retreat, we take space, and then we continue the conversation. Now, this is the same thing with intimacy and not rushing intimacy. And how do we let things unfold as they're meant to in time? Because we need time to get to know people. They need time to get to know us. We need time to shift patterns. Our partners need time to shift patterns. And giving that spaciousness of time to let the relationship unfold into a beautiful flower. No flower blooms in an instant. They bloom over time. We water it. It gets water, it gets sun, oxygen. It needs these elements to slowly open and bloom. And we're the same way. Our relationships are the same way. Same with conflict. These themes align for both of these domains, intimacy and the conflict, in giving it spaciousness to breathe, to unfold, to let both parties simmer, to reflect. And so when you're navigating conflict, I want to invite you to, it's opening a conversation. You don't have to have an answer. You have to be clear on what you're feeling in a given moment and how you want to communicate it. Maybe ask questions on their end. So even if it's something like, I'm noticing I'm feeling closure in this moment. I'm feeling a little resentful because I'm feeling like things are unbalanced. Because I feel like I'm putting more energy here and I'm tired. And I want to voice it without having an answer, but I want to voice it and see what comes for you. And it's a conversation. It's a dance. And when we give ourselves that space to feel what it is we're feeling and to voice what it is we're feeling without having to have all the answers or to solve it, it actually lightens the pressure. It lightens the mood. It lightens the tension. And it creates space for couples to navigate through conflict more easily and for you to have hard conversations more easily. You think about when you are contemplating the gene keys, it's all about contemplation. When we contemplate, what do? We're not thinking really intensely focused on something. You're thinking about it as you're cooking, as you're stretching. And what happens when we loosely just play and massage this ball of Play-Doh or whatever it is you're massaging? This is where the insights come. Not when we're hyper focused, laser eye, Big Brother style, looking at the ball of Play-Doh and trying to put it into a beautiful masterpiece. Because it's going to feel like too much pressure. It's going to feel too heavy. So I want to invite you to give you a practical tool when you're navigating conflict. I want you to think about creating openings to have some insights, to share your own experience or to ask questions. So whether that's, as I shared, I'm feeling X, Y, and Z. I notice I'm feeling tension. I notice I'm feeling anxious because we haven't talked about the planning for the trip. Or I notice I'm feeling resentful because I'm doing a lot of the planning. When can we sit down and divvy up the roles? Or when can we sit down and talk about the restaurants, talk about the accommodations, talk about the flights? Nail one thing at a time. Otherwise, it feels heavy. Same thing with your vision, your path, your dharma. If you have this big vision of what you want to accomplish in your life, and I'll speak for myself, I do, and it feels heavy. It's intimidating. It's so big. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to get there in what I imagine. And I have to say, Nicola, one step at a time, baby girl. We're going to do this. Then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do this. Then we're going to do this. Then we're going to try this door. And it's the exploration. It's the play. It's taking it one step at a time and giving ourselves grace and permission for that. And then we release that control because we have a hard time being in the unknown, being in the uncertainty. This is why we often want to enter into something and have closure in a given moment because the uncertainty is uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. And by expanding our capacity to feel that tension, it's going to help us be more comfortable being in the unknown, working through conflict with more ease, allowing things to evolve and be fluid because they are. If you're collaborating with someone, it's fluid as it evolves. If you're with partner and let's say you're navigating, do you share bank accounts? Do you not? Do you share funds? Do you not? It's fluid. Maybe you decide not to. Maybe after being together 2 years, you decide to share finances because that feels good. It takes time, but you can't go into a conversation saying it has to be this way or the highway, or we have to decide now because it doesn't leave space for evolution. And it's going to help us be more at peace when we can be in evolution. And of course, as human beings, you have to know what are your hard no's and your hard boundaries. But for me, everything is, for the most part, unless we're talking crazy stuff, which I'm not even going to indulge that conversation. But for the most part, boundaries are usually, they're movable. People can, this is the art of persuasion. Also feeling in when you feel safe, you feel more safe to open. Maybe a boundary was here, maybe it moves back an inch. And so giving the space to allow that to be as such. And if you're loving what you're hearing about conflict and you want to have more tangible tools to navigate conflict in all relationships with more ease and more mastery of your energetics and your voice, I give a lot of tools in my most recent course, the communication codes, which is all about how to get what it is that you desire in more impactful and influential ways while maintaining the connection. So it's really focused on conflict and giving you more attunement and awareness to your verbals, your words, and your nonverbals. Body language, tone, frequency, cadence, silence, pauses, all of the things, and energetics so that you can feel more embodied and speak in a way that aligns to your intention and your truth in an easeful, relaxed way that bridges connection instead of burns it. So tune in. I'll put the info in the show notes as well, should you want to take a look and join for that self-led course. And thank you, beautiful people, for tuning into this week's episode of Divine Union. It's been such a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, may all your unions be divine.